Hey, welcome and thank you. This is hats off. Hats off to you, hats off to me, hats off to all of you. I take my hat all the way off because I'm going to be a struggle with the curly curls to get back in there. I am fortunate yet again in this Sunday of Men's Health Month, Father's Day, just celebrating men, specifically men from my diaspora, to have yet another brother from another mother and but I should never know it as another US Army vet as well, alongside me in this Men's Health Month, just celebrating our fathers. Mr. Victor, how are you today?
I'm fantastic. Good to be with you today.
Nice. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So let me ask. How are your mentals? How you doing? How you feeling? How's Men's Month and with the impending Father's Day coming up? How's that feel for you?
I mean, if everyone is always honest, there's always something going on
Right.
mentally, because if you live in where I live in the tri-state area, New York City tri-state area, it really works on you mentally. I tell people that every day. This is one of these places where you have to be mentally strong if you want to make it here. Even Frank Sinatra said it best. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. All right.
Right.
It's one of those places where mental toughness is absolutely necessary. As you speak right now, I'm at a mental institution where I do some work on the weekends.
Right. Right.
So it's one of those things where though things may not be severe and may not be at the front of our minds, there's always something going on in everyone's head.
Right. Right.
No matter how severe it is. But currently, for myself, nothing too severe that I cannot manage, I cannot handle.
Right.
I can't take a woo-saw moment and refresh myself from or take a nap or something like that. So I can tell everyone, it's important to know what works for you. For some people, it may be taking a walk. For some people, maybe taking a shower. For some people, maybe taking a nap. Some people is going for a drive. And some of my favorite people is riding a motorcycle.
I was when you were in food, babe. Catch me with that one, yes.
Yeah. I know. I was gonna say food last. Last but not least, for some people, is getting in the kitchen and making a fantastic meal or eating a fantastic meal. For some people, they turn to food. Unfortunately, as much as we love food, for some people, it's a crutch.
Right.
Yeah. But if you do it right, food can be something that takes be a getaway. So many different types of food from different types of lands. It can be a getaway.
Sure. Yes, indeed. And we were discussing, I think, in the previous episode, as it relates to food, that is seemingly the only thing that most of us are in control of, what we eat. So,
Absolutely.
Everything that you got to do your job, you got to take care of children, you got to, take care of the family. But what we eat, we are in control of that. And sometimes they can misconstrue it because it needs to be one balance, right? Because you could be on a deep end as in the healthiest person or the most unhealthiest and still be met with loss of life or being unalive, so to speak. But striking a balance to me helps to preserve life. So on the topic of food, of course, and fatherhood, talk to me a bit about fatherhood in this day and age and being a dad girl.
A girl dad. I know what you mean.
Yeah, a dad girl. Girl dad. Thank you. Yes, my apologies. Yes, a girl dad. Yes.
Yeah. Well, in this day and age, I must say it's a bit of a challenge. I'm lucky because my particular young lady, she makes it a little bit easy for me.
Right.
She's not too much of a handful, but she admitted to me that sometimes she herself does turn to food for soothing and comfort. You know what I mean? So as a girl dad, that's something that has to be taken into consideration because, as they say, everything with moderation. As she gets older and she continues to consume different types of food that are considered comfort foods. Comfort foods are not necessarily the healthiest foods. From the outside, things like body shaming and people calling names and stuff like that, starts to, come into play. So as a
Right.
girl, that is very important to have a presence and always, be encouraging and uplifting, and also offering opportunities for her to be able to change it up a little bit. Because like even yesterday, I had her for the whole day yesterday, which is was Friday, and she was typically on her way to school. She gets like a bacon, egg, and cheese. I said,
Right.
well, you with me today, so we're gonna change it up, and we're gonna
Right.
start the day with fruits. And we
Right.
started the day with fruits, and she was thankful for it. She's,
Right.
so it's like sometimes even though you know what their habits are, and you know
Mhm.
that, especially if you know that their habits aren't the most healthiest, sometimes
Yeah.
you have to offer an alternative and be firm with it. I had to be firm with it. I said, well, if you don't eat that, you may not eat. you know,
They're
you have to
bringing,
eat that.
you're bringing,
Yeah,
you're bringing on over to the old school that you would have experienced coming up as a
ab-
child, right?
absolutely. I
Right.
mean, I didn't have choices like that.
Right.
It's eat
Exactly.
this, it's
So
eat this or don't eat. That's it. Those are only two choices.
right. So in the framework of eat this or don't eat, we coming into with this or that series, right? And I
Right.
know you're not a pronounced foodie, but I know you do enjoy food. We've had many a meals together where
Yep.
I come to NY because your mom giving us this spread, this full on,
Yep.
fullness because she know me and how much I eat, right?
Yep.
So I want to ask you, in choosing fruit, your preference, would it be the supermarket or farmer's market?
I'd have to say farmers market.
Right. Okay. And
Yeah.
why? Why?
Because I tell people all the time, because I see people go to the supermarket, myself included, go to the supermarket, buy fruits, and in a short while the fruits are spoiled. And I'm like,
Right.
yeah, but you don't know how long they were in the supermarket before you purchased it. At the
Right.
farmers market, chances are there's a likelihood that it was is freshly picked or
Yeah.
fresher than at the supermarket. There's no guarantee,
Supermarket.
but
Right.
you have a better sense that yeah, it probably is fresher than at the supermarket. And the supermarket is about volume and profit. The farmers
Right.
market is about reputation and repeat business. So the mindset that they use to give you a better quality product at a better price is going to come into play as opposed to the supermarket that just wants to, turn over, turn over, turn over.
Right. Understood. And let's say for meals, would you prefer home cooked or a restaurant?
I will always prefer a home cooked meal because there's love in it. At a
Right.
restaurant, there's, like same thing at a restaurant. There's some restaurants, there's love in the food,
Yeah.
but a lot of times you find like inconsistency because the chefs that are the kind of chefs that put love in the food are not necessarily the kind of chefs that are good for business. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that part becomes very tricky. It is very
Yeah.
tricky.
Right. So when traveling, what would you say? Would you gravitate more to the local cuisine or the franchises like you know?
Nah, what's the point of going somewhere and eating the same thing you eat at home anyway? The whole
Oh,
point is to
okay.
have a different experience. The food is part of the travel experience. I
Right,
like to
right,
get any place I go, I like to have food that I could only get there,
right,
like
right,
authentic.
right. And
Yeah.
I know this is not our food, this is our fruit. Coconut, like you and
You already
coconut.
know. As soon as I get off the
Everywhere.
plane, first thing, you know,
Get off
that's
the
like
jumbo jet.
yeah,
That is the nice
exactly.
thing. To the coconut vendor.
Yep. Yep.
All right,
It's like
now.
that's on my rider contract.
Right.
Yeah,
One of my I need a coconut water. Get on this flight. Let's get to it.
that's it.
Right.
Yep.
Now, I don't know that you've done much cooking or do much cooking based on your hectic New York experience as it relates to just came for yourself, came for your daughter, came for your family. But if you were to be in the kitchen, what would be your preferred tool? Would it be most of the guests thus far, most people I speak with, we are meat cleaver, Chinese chopper, we call it in Trinidad. I don't know what they call it in St. Vincent, but the
Hmm.
meat cleaver over the chef knife. What would be your preference? Because you have to cook a meal for the family.
Hmm. That's interesting. Well, I'm partial to the meat cleaver because you sent me a picture with my name on it.
That was marketing. I was already getting into your subconscious like, hey, meat cleaver,
Yeah,
yeah, I'll tell you when I get interested. It's
right.
so
Yeah, yeah. I know
so,
you. I know you well enough to know, that you lead me into something every now and then.
so, if
Yeah,
you had an opportunity for a meal to eat with someone not famous or famous like me, what would you choose?
someone non-famous or someone famous.
Yeah, yeah. Meal opportunity. What would you choose?
Come on, you're at the top of the list. You're at the top of the
I
list.
know. Yes, sir. Alrighty, and
Yeah.
as it relates to like cooking, right? Again, preparation of meals or being a part of that, what would you go with? Would you go with cookbook or cookbook?
What
And
was the
now,
second choice?
so cook law. So like folklore, so tradition, law, LORE. So
Uh,
instead of saying
oh,
folklore, I do a little something. So I say book or
yeah.
cook law. So that's generational menus, passing on recipes. That that sort of thing. So would you prefer structured cookbook or the folklore?
Well,
Passing through that process.
I've never experienced structured cookbook. It's always been cook law.
Folklore,
So
right? Yes.
structured cookbook would be a
Yeah.
new experience for me.
Right. I wonder if that is a diaspora thing or a curve. But I mean, that's still diaspora either way. I wonder if it's thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. And last but not least, as it relates to preference and palate, would you prefer more of a strict structured menu lineup or seafood, SEE food? Anything is C is where you eat. What would you
No,
go with?
I prefer everything I see I eat. That was one of the things that came up yesterday when so a coworker took me to lunch for
Right.
Father's
Right.
Day, and my daughter was with me, and that's how I decided. I decided based on do I want to. The two restaurants were side by side.
Right.
One of them has a very like straight forward, direct menu with not that many choices, and the
Right.
other one has a menu that looks like an encyclopedia. you know. So because my daughter was with me, of course, I gave her. I went to the one that had the more choices. So
Yeah.
I lean to that. It's based on like who I'm with and what kind of meal we're having.
Understood. Understood.
Yeah.
All right. So I do appreciate your feedback and your time, sir. We're pretty much wrapping up as far as the time up because I noticed I read and seen why when you
Yeah.
give more than I can appreciate it.
Yeah.
What I thought was really interesting, especially with being in NYC and in different boroughs, thus
Hmm.
far, Father's Day has not come for us yet. Is the eve. I have seen so many dads outside with their daughters, with their sons, like just seeing guys hanging out, together,
Yeah.
cooking out, just helping each other. Because I was part of a session this morning where we were all redoing a driveway. And I was like, how fortunate am I to be amongst these men as they're, prepping for Father's Day and assisting each other. And then they have their younger ones there with them also, looking into the trade as well. So it was such an awesome experience this morning. I felt so productive today,
Yeah.
even though out of the comfort of, as my father, this is my studio background and over my
Yeah.
father. But I appreciate that you can see it and love it the way that I do. But brother, listen,
Yeah.
thank you for your time. You don't know,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you, respect you. Godspeed. You enjoy the
Yeah.
rest of your shift. Thank you so much for giving me your time while being at work, right?
All right.
Have a good day. Yeah? You
Yeah.
take
We
care.
must link.